Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to another Be Connected session. I'm with you as always. I'm Emily, your host. I work at the City of Marion Libraries, and you'll find me up at Hallett Cove. Today, we're looking at how to interpret data and Wi-Fi. We're going to go looking into understanding data and Wi-Fi. So let's get started. I've got a little friend today. It's a cat, of course. Today, we're going to start off with looking at what we're learning off the Be Connected website. What is data? How it's measured? How much you need? We're looking at home and mobile networks, what Wi-Fi is, and we'll go into some terms that you may not know already, and some questions if we have any at the end. Excellent. So Be Connected, expansive topic collection, beginner to advanced level courses, all teaching you the skills you need to get online and feeling comfortable in your online skills. This is a website for everyone. They even have PDF files that you can print off to people who don't have access to a computer or the internet. So it's very helpful, easy to use, and you can sign up and keep track of your training if that's something you'd like to do. So that's where I'm learning all my information from. Now I'm interpreting it and bringing it in. So let's ask, what is data? So data is the unit by which your use of the internet is measured. It's what you're downloading and uploading in order to access the internet. That's what it is. Again, sending and receiving information, and your data allowance is allocated by your internet provider, usually your telephone company. Will give you an allowance, and we'll talk about the differences and why you need more or less in just a bit. But looking at data a little bit more closely, I don't want to get too technical with it, but I found it very interesting to know what exactly is being uploaded and downloaded. Data is transferred using ones and zeros, which is a computer language that your computer translates for you. A bit or a byte. So if you hear kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, they're all breaking down all the way down to bytes, being 8 bits, being 8 either ones or zeros all mixed up. So I have a little line of binary code here. So it's 01100. It's a whole bunch of ones and zeros, and that equates to the letter B. It's a capital B, in fact. Every letter of the alphabet, symbol, number has its own binary code symbol, and all of these make up computer language, computer code, which kind of gives you an idea of why we're talking terabytes, gigabytes, so many hundreds and thousands or millions of bits. Again, this is all a lot of fancy jargon, but it is cool to know what you're downloading is made up of and why some things are bigger than others. So let's have a look at file sizes. So how much data am I using? What do I download and how big is it? Everything you do online requires data to access. Anything from Googling something on the internet to reading an email to downloading a video or watching a stream video. These are all going to be using different levels of data, but it's always going to be using data to use. Say, I'm repeating myself again, that's fine. The amount of data depends on the complexity of the file or document. Something like an email, which is at the very bottom, email websites, very, very low. We're talking kilobytes. That's the smallest size. And if you remember, let me go back. If you remember, we've got a pyramid here with at the very top is a byte, very small, and then a terabyte at the bottom is the largest chunk, largest portion, and that is going to be using the most data. Only time you'd ever see a terabyte is going to be in a memory storage device, so a hard drive or a solid state drive or a USB even can get a terabyte these days. It's very cool, but you'll struggle to fill that up, definitely. It's a huge amount of space. It's interesting to talk about space when you're holding a thing this big, but it does make a difference when you've got a terabyte of storage to work with. It's a lot. You can store hundreds of videos using a terabyte drive, but you don't need one of those. Usually a gigabyte drive is enough. A couple gigs, you can handle it. You'll be able to download and watch things as you like and save photos and memories. Something like a photo has a smaller file size than audio files. So again, something like photos and music, they're going to be kind of on par up in the gigabyte range. Getting very high is going to be movies, for example, or my audio medium should be mixed up a bit higher than photos, I would say, depending on the quality of the photos. Something you take on your phone, for example, isn't going to be as high a quality as say a DSLR camera, proper professional lens camera. That's going to be very high up, but definitely movies are at the very top of data usage. A cute thing that I learned recently was that some photos, even though they're taken with the same camera, same day, same photographer, there'll be different sizes depending on what they're viewing and how complex it is. If you're interested, I'll go into it. It's more what I think it's very cool. Say if you take a photo of a black TV screen, it's full black, and then you also have a second photo of a large crowd of people. They're all wearing different clothes, different expressions all around, heaps of things going on. Your black photo on one side, which has only got a few shades of one color, is going to have less of a complex image. It's going to be a smaller file size than your very complex, interesting, well, not that it's not interesting to look at a blank screen, but the crowd is going to take up a lot more memory space. I thought that was so interesting that even with the same camera, depending on what your image is projecting, what it's showing, your file will be bigger. And this is just because computer language uses likeness to code the language, code the image. It's hard to explain as well. But the idea is that if you've got a highly complex image, it's going to be relating each pixel to each other, pixel being the very small dots that make up a picture. It's going to go, okay, that's red and that's yellow. They're different language there. If you're looking at the black photo, we've got black and then a slightly darker black or a lighter black pixel. And then you're going to go, oh, they're very similar. Less language needed there to describe it. Again, it's all this computer language that happens in the background that we don't necessarily need to know. I just thought it was very cool. So that's how much data it would take up, for example, for emails to movies. So emails, websites, very, very low. Movies all the way at the top. Now, what else do I have here? Exactly, here we go. So 10 gigabytes, say if you have a 10 gig phone plan or maybe even home phone program, it's not likely to have only 10 gigabytes, but if you're not using it for much, 10 gigs is going to get you quite a lot. So as we've got here, we've got something like 2,000 songs, 4 movies, 400 hours of internet browsing. Yeah, so many emails. It just keeps going. You can get a lot of this with just 10 gigabytes. It's nice to kind of see an example of what you can get out of it. So it really just depends on what you're using your data for. Are you always watching movies? Is that all you like to do? Because you're going to need a larger phone plan if that's the case. If you're just reading your emails, you don't need 10 gigabytes. I don't know if you go through 300,000 emails in a day, but 10 gigabytes will get you that. Yeah, so that's sort of data sizes and what you can have a look at. Let's have a look at home networks. So let's talk about the difference between a home network and a mobile network. Home networks are the physical cable connection to your home that is from the street connection, either from, it had been the case that it was the telephone pole, now it's the NBN running below. I think it was always fiber optic cable. They've just recently, as with the NBN coming by, attaching wires to everyone's houses through the ground network. You now have a cord running from the street lamp or the pole or the wires hanging from above the street now going straight to your house, and then you have your provider like Telstra, Optus, whatever you have, connect your box, essentially a modem, to that wire. So this modem can sit inside your home. Most people put it somewhere that they can access with their devices quite easily. A home network has both a Ethernet connection, so you've got it here, Ethernet connection, and a sort of a wireless connection as I've got here. And it runs through that modem, and then Ethernet cable or Wi-Fi network. Here I've got a cute little graphic of a computer and a modem. So your modem's going to look like this here. It's generally a sort of not a set-top box, but a little box, and it has antenna. It can have several antennas. I don't know if it makes it more effective, but you usually see a few antennas. Some are very simple these days and just kind of like a little box, little white box, or something unobtrusive. But here you can kind of check the status of your modem, if it needs turning on and off again, if the connection it's got is a little bit shaky, or it might be flashing or turning on and off. But your modem is essentially the box in which your internet will run through, and all the information is going to travel that way in order to access other servers in other countries, in all over Australia, things like that, to access the internet and upload things online, or download things, or read emails. So that's a home network. It can be, again, connected with a Ethernet connection, which is this actual plug that runs through your modem. These are great for home computers, especially. If you've got a smart TV that has a Ethernet port, you may want to do that. It just depends on which device you use the most. Otherwise, everything else can run off a wireless network, and I'll talk about wireless networks in just a second. Let's go more into mobile networks first. Mobile networks are made up of a series of transmitters, mobile phone towers that are owned by telcos, telephone companies. So something like this one here has this is a radio tower, so transmitter, phone tower. We have one just behind us at the Hallett Cove car park, around the churches and the library faces that way. And it's a huge tower. It's really big, and it sends out different, I was going to say Wi-Fi, that's not right, radio frequencies that your smart devices that can connect to the internet, that is, your smart devices will receive this connection and be able to upload and download things that way. So mobile networks are referred to by their generation, either 4G or 5G. So fourth generation, 5th generation, 5th generation. There was 3, there was 2, it's going all the way back. You can get 4G plus and 5G plus. I had a look at a map recently and of the network connections you can get in Adelaide from a street view looking down from a bird's eye view. But we don't have any 5G networks turned on currently. None that you'd be able to access through a public sort of setting where you'd walk around and connect with them as you do. But Melbourne, Sydney, they've all got them. Perth has them. We're very jealous over here. But for the most part, most people don't need 5G at this point. It's really for those who love the very, very fast internet speeds. Maybe people who are, streaming lots of video, uploading lots of stuff. Certainly people playing video games that need a live, response happening with them. They would love a 5G connection. The only thing about 5G, and I'll bring up a little graphic here just to exemplify how fast it is. This isn't to scale. It means that 5G is faster than 4G and 4G is faster than Wi-Fi. What your Wi-Fi is connecting to is a modem. Again, that little black box with the antenna sticking up. That is what it's connecting to. And then that modem's connected to the internet after that. So it's kind of a two-step that slows it down. Whereas 4G and 5G are directly connecting to the radio towers that then connect to the internet almost directly. They always go through servers because that's where computers, that's how computers work. They run through a server, which is kind of like a large memory box. I'd bring up a picture of a server, but I won't today at least. But yeah, I think that's how servers work. It's a lot. It's more than we need to know in order to use the internet. That's all I'm going to say. If you'd like to know, let me know and I'll look up, more about servers, but it's not necessary today. So I'll let you know that, 4G, 5G, very, very fast. The current technology with 4G, the waves are both, they are able to travel far, but they have a low frequency. Now, I think I'm getting this right, hopefully, meaning that the waves are a lot looser, but they're also going to travel slowly, but over a far distance. So all low frequencies can travel very, very far. High frequencies do not travel as far. They lose their gusto. So with a 5G connection, that's what we're working toward. To get a very quick connection, you need more towers than you would a 4G connection because 4G can go further, 5G can't go as far. The waves that you're looking at with a 5G connection are very, very fast, meaning your information gets to you and uploads very, very quickly. However, you will have to be close to a tower for it to work. I've seen people testing it out for the first time with sort of current technology. I'm sure in future it's going to get more and more efficient and work better. But I've seen people try it with a sort of a current era phone that can do 5G, access 5G networks. And they've had it by a window and then they've gone behind a brick wall, I think it was double brick, and then the connection kind of slowed down dramatically. So it has a hard time traveling through walls, of course, and things like that because it is such a high frequency. Lower frequencies can go further. So that's all you need to know about 5G and 4G and what we're looking forward to in the future. That's faster connections. But that's all we have to know about that for now. Let's talk about Wi-Fi, and I hope you enjoy my little fish. This is a new feature I found. That's a PowerPoint. And I love trying new stuff. So enjoy the little fish as they flit about. So what is Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi is the wireless way to connect to the internet. I've talked about it briefly. Wi-Fi signals are sent through your modem or router and can connect to any smart device, which I'll talk about in just a tick, what a smart device can be. Again, it's anything that can connect to the internet is smart. meaning that we are smart as well, I guess, because we can connect to the internet in our own way. And Wi-Fi allows multiple devices to connect simultaneously. So this is something you'd have in a home network. At home, you'll have a router, and it might have an Ethernet connection that you plug into a different either computer or maybe a smart TV, wherever you'd like your internet to be the most stable. That's what having an Ethernet cable is great for. It's not going to drop in and out because it's constantly connected with that wire. Whereas a Wi-Fi connection can drop out depending on how far away you move with the device. If you walk, out the front of your house, it's going to disconnect, sort of thing. But as long as you're near the router, the modem, you'll be able to connect again. So that's a Wi-Fi connection. Wi-Fi can't connect to towers like this. This is a mobile connection. So this is the difference between Wi-Fi connects to your home modem, and data related, a mobile connection, I should say, will connect to a radio tower or transmitter. Again, when we say mobile data, we're meaning a device that can go out of the house, out away from a Wi-Fi connection and still work. These are things like your phone, certain iPads and tablets that you will pay for your own SIM card to go in them, and that's what will work. I don't think there's anything else I should mention. Some smartwatches connect directly. Yeah, more and more things are having their own connection where they don't have to rely on a different modem that you're paying for. You can pay for the actual device to have its own connection. And that's where we get into ideas of, should my phone have a lot of data banked up? Should I get a plan with a lot of data? But if you're already paying for a home plan that you access while you're at home, where you're probably going to be doing the most online activity, that being video streaming, looking up websites, emails, things like that, you're mostly going to be doing that at home on your own computer or TV or iPad, whatever you're connecting with. Whereas a mobile connection is really only when you're out and about. It's for things like, not even calling and texting, yes, of course, but that's not really what you pay for anymore. That is generally free these days. What you're paying for is the data. So things like if you want to look up on Google Maps where you're going for the day, if you want to check, social media while you're out and about, that's going to be using mobile data, and that's where you'll be connecting to those radio towers. So you're always going to be thinking, okay, mobile data, I need less of that. Home network data, more of that. So that's the kind of the main idea. Connecting up to a Wi-Fi network, you'll need a password. So when you are given your modem for the first time, it'll come with a preset password. You can change this. However, the password they give you is usually very, very strong. Series of totally random letters and numbers, capitals, spaces, things like that. It's totally random, meaning that anyone who might walk past your house attempting to connect to your Wi-Fi for free won't be able to, because the password is that encrypted. One thing to note is that if you've got friends over or family members come by and they want to connect to your Wi-Fi, you'll have to give them the password, but know that the next time they visit, they'll still have the password in their phone, so they'll be able to get to it again. So if you like, if you want to be more selective with who you give it to, you can change your password before they come back, I suppose. It's really up to you if you'd like to share that with someone. Otherwise, let them on your own computer, maybe. It's up to you. Okie doke. Let's talk about smart devices. So this is probably one of the last things I'll chat about today. A smart device, again, anything that can connect to the internet. And this is anything that can be a wireless connection or a mobile connection. So Wi-Fi or its own mobile connection. So something like your phone, your iPad can, your Android tablet, your laptop generally can. You usually buy a little dongle that you plug in the side. If you'd like to have a mobile connection with that one, or you'd either hotspot it off of your device that you normally use it with. Hotspotting, again, is a wireless connection. I don't know if I mentioned hotspotting. Oh, I will in a moment. I'll save that. Other things that can connect wirelessly are, smart TVs. Again, they're called smart TVs because they can connect to the internet. Speaker systems, home assistants, things like Alexa, Google Home. Is it called OK Google? Google Home, Google Nest packages, Siri, things like that. Your light bulbs now can be totally wireless. You can plug in certain plugs and things like that that are totally wireless, meaning that you can turn them on and off from a location outside of your home. So say if you're running late and you want to get home and have the house warm, if you've connected up your plug with a certain wireless plug that can do this, or a home assistant, or if you've got a very smart home, So your whole house is kind of wired up in order for it to work remotely if you need it to. You can, for example, turn on the heating before you get home, and that way you've got a warm house to come home to, or turn on the outside light if you're not home and it's getting late and dark and you want the light on, that sort of thing. It can be quite handy. Most people do fine without it, as we have been for many, many, many years without all the smart technology. But if you think it'll make your life easier, totally something you can do. Also, smart fridges. I thought that was such a fun thing. More and more ads are coming on TV for smart fridges that you can knock on the door and then the glass pane that will cover part of the fridge will go from black to clear, transparent again, and you can see what's inside your fridge before you pick it, just to be, I guess, more energy efficient with letting cold air out, I suppose. Things in your fridge you can tell your fridge when you put something in. So say a carton of milk, and it can tell you, can send a message to your phone, for example, when your milk is starting to expire or is going to go off in a few days. It's very cool. Again, don't know if you need it necessarily, but it's, you know, it's fun to see what the technology can do and will probably end up being in the future. It's very interesting to see. So those are smart devices. Now we'll get into some more Wi-Fi tips and tricks, essentially, and we'll talk about hotspots as well. So public and free Wi-Fi. Here I have a picture of the Cove Civic Centre, and my little cat character is back. And you can see we've got free access computers for the public to use, and these access a connected network actually. But on the ceiling, and I've not included a picture of it, we have all of these modems stuck up on the ceiling so you can get access to the free Wi-Fi. This is a public network, meaning that anyone can use this network, anyone who's either got the password or in range. If it doesn't have a password, they just have to be near the building to access it. So here's some sort of security measures to keep in mind. Anyone can use this network if they're within the area, for example, meaning that anyone can kind of not lay traps, but the term is piggybacking. I think it is. They can piggyback onto your connection through the connection they're sharing with you, and then they can upload a virus or malware or try and sort of view what you're viewing at the same time. This can be really bad if you're doing banking, for example, and all your details are kind of on screen. What they do is record what they can do. They don't always do it, of course. This is a risk. It's not 100% always going to happen, but it is a risk. They'll record your keystrokes, meaning that every time you type on your keyboard, they go, that's the letter A, that's the letter B, C, D, etc. And that way they can read your passwords, even if they can't read it on the screen. Oftentimes when you type a password, it's going to come up with those little dots or asterisks, and you won't be able to read it unless you click show me the password so I can check if I've got it right. They'll read your keystrokes instead, and that way they can get your password. That's just one of the ways scammers, hackers, things like that can access your information. So be very, very careful when using Wi-Fi on a free network. I don't want to scare people into not using Wi-Fi because I use Wi-Fi all the time. I feel pretty comfortable using it. Our connection at the library is very good. We've got a lot of not anti-hacking software, but anti-malware, things like that, virus protection. But not all places have that. A place like maybe Macca's is going to be a little more lenient with what they're allowing on the website, sort of thing. So it's not going to always be perfect. We try our best here at the libraries. We are very conscious of that. And we know we get a lot of people who just want to use the internet and don't want to have to worry about, you know, if their information is going to get stolen. So keep in mind that when using a Wi-Fi connection, we never suggest going onto your banking and things like that. Something a little more secure, like our actual physical computers, have a different connection, not the Wi-Fi. It has a Ethernet connection that is a lot more secure. So that's okay. People do that. That's fine with us. But the Wi-Fi, we ask people to be very, very careful with. So avoid internet banking or sending personal details while using free Wi-Fi, and instead try using a hotspot if you can. So if you aren't totally run out of data for your phone for the month, we recommend jumping onto your own hotspot if you're planning on that, or someone else's hotspot if they're willing to share. Hotspotting is tethering. The term just means that you're allowing another person to treat your phone like a modem, essentially. So instead of connecting to a Wi-Fi modem, which is one you'd have like at home or we've got on the ceiling, for example, at the library, instead of connecting to one of those, you're connecting to a phone and then getting your data, information, emails through their connection to the internet. So again, tethering, getting one phone connected to another phone, and then them sharing the data that one would be getting, for example. That's a lot safer. A lot more passwords are involved with that. People have to say, yes, this is the person I want to connect with. Yes, they're connecting right now. That is fine. Versus the Wi-Fi in a public space where anyone can connect at any time. We don't. We have a few boxes you have to tick, but no passwords required anymore, at least. So Wi-Fi, good for general use. Fine for looking at emails. That's okay. Nothing personal though. No typing in your bank details and no typing in major passwords, things like that. But jumping on social media, that's fine. Looking at emails, that's okay. Okay, that's public and free Wi-Fi, and I believe we're done for the day. I'll pause the video for a quick moment while I ask for some questions. I have my lovely big whale hanging out. So I'll give it a quick pause and I'll just chat with everyone in the chat room. Hello, everyone. And I'll be right back. Thanks. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Let's keep going. We'll just finish up now. I won't keep you for much longer. Here we go. That's my screen. So staying connected with us. If you'd like more information about these sessions, other events we've got going on, what the library is doing in general, please jump onto our Facebook page or our Instagram page at City of Marion Libraries. You don't need to have a Facebook account to look at our Facebook page, so please look that up if you're interested. You can check our What's On page on our City of Marion website. So the actual council website, you can look up our What's On page. That's just going through venues, libraries, what's on. You can find us that way. You could subscribe to our Library Loop newsletter. We send out one newsletter each month. We don't like to flood your inbox, but we do keep you up to date and they're quite fun. I like receiving them. You can visit a branch or give us a call on 8375-6755. I'll be happy to take your call. You can request me in person if you'd like, and I'll say hello. Absolutely fine. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with me today, everyone. I'm all done for the day, and I'll let you all go off and have a lovely tea and coffee. You've all been wonderful. Oh, here we go. Another cat. So sweet. All right, everyone. See you next time. I'll see you in the next one. We'll be talking about going further with your device, figuring out new and cool ways to use your device, using it to the sort of peak of its potential. We're not going to miss anything on this one. So I'll see you in the next one, everyone. And happy learning. See you then. Bye.